On the next couple slides, I'm going to show you exactly what I recommend in terms of how you can build content, how you can ideate it. But this is where a lot of your responsibility is going to lie, right? So when we talk about bringing in editors to help out or writers, but this is where your attention and focus needs to be because the content topics are incredibly important. I was just telling over here, I like to take like a top-down approach, meaning I'll start at the very, very top. What's the biggest problem that my client needs to solve? For me, it's quality lead generation because it's not really hard to drive phone calls, but to drive qualified phone calls, it's really hard. So I started, the first video that I created for lawyers, it was a chart that said every single different lead generation tactic available to law firms. And then I went through and I ranked and reviewed them. You know, that was my first video that I did. That tackled the main macro problem. That gave me a really good asset that I could run as a VSL, run on YouTube. We have a blog post that now ranks for lawyer lead generation too. So it ranks in Google for that. Within that, you know, there's local SEO, there's LSAs, there's PPC, there's blogging, there's link building, there's billboards, there's radio spots, there's social media marketing. And then each one of those breaks down into its own universe. You should really never run out of topics. And if you do, then you can just start over again, right? Because by the time you get through everything, it's probably going to be a year or two. Go back. As soon as I publish this, it's decaying, it's changing, right? So we decided instead of constantly trying to come up with new topics and shove, you know, shiny objects down your throat, we said we're going to stick to the foundations of what it takes to run an agency here: positioning, offer design, service delivery, lead generation, sales. In every single year, we're going to make sure that that content is up to date, right? So it gives us kind of a set amount of stuff and allows us to focus on the biggest pillars here. Next up is content creation. So this is an important note here. Essentially what that means is that, like, I need you to do 4 videos per month. That doesn't mean you have to do 1 per week to sit down and do it. What you should do is you should block off 4 to 6 hours on your calendar on a random Tuesday, and you should film all those videos right then and there, right? One, it's going to make it much easier on you. Like when you're in a state of deep work on a singular topic, it's much easier to blast through it. I used to do it the other way around, where I would try and do a video per week. And when you got a million things going on, you got a business, you got family, you got employees, it can be really hard to make that time. We're going to talk about the different types of videos that you can create too, because it doesn't just have to be you talking to a camera, right? You can bring in a co-host, you can interview somebody, you can do live events and webinars. That's what I do here at The Blueprint. I found that like it's been really hard for me to sit down and do talking head camera videos at Blueprint. So instead, what do? I do live events. I got into the legal space. How did I learn what a lawyer's pain points were? It starts with a macro problem. So inside of the Blueprint training, I think some of my favorite training I've ever done is the offer design training. And in that training, I talk about diagnosing pain points and literally building your entire business around that. It's very simple. Every single person here, we're all solving the same problem. It's customer acquisition, right? Whether that's for e-commerce or lawyers or doctors or dentists or whatever that is, right? We're trying to drive new customers. So that's the macro problem that we start with. Now that gets contextualized to lawyers. Like I said, they don't necessarily care about leads. What I've learned, they care about qualified leads. Like they don't just want their phone to ring 1,000 times. They want it to ring 10 times with people that are qualified. So when you go down this process of creating content, what's going to happen is you're going to start following people on TikTok and Instagram, right? Creators in that space. You're going to start looking at videos. You're going to start reading books. I literally, all of my competitors write books, and I'm like, thank you guys for giving me all of your insights and strategies, because I read them. I listen to them. You know what I mean? I download all that information. So the more that you do it, you know, you learn so much from it too, right? So just the process of researching the content is going to help you to learn and grow a lot from it. But it just starts with that macro problem of customer acquisition, right? And understanding what the best way to acquire customers for is them. And then like you're off and running. Like I said, for us with lead generation, with lawyers, I purposely chose lawyers because I knew search marketing was a great way. It's the best way for lawyers to get clients. It still is, even though it's very competitive, it's very expensive. Knowing that though, like, again, there's a whole universe of topics inside of customer acquisition through search that they're interested in, that they're looking for, that they care about, right? Like paid search ads. Paid search in itself, a whole universe. There's landing pages, there's targeting, there's A/B testing, there's why your agency sucks, there's why your economics aren't working, there's CRM integrations. And then you start again going down SEO, and then you just start learning about the stuff like, and then going down that path, this is how I realized like we need to integrate CRM kind of coaching, consulting, and implementations into our service, because CRM is a whole new thing that now we can explore. Intake services with them is a whole new thing. Home service is another one. Their biggest problem in home services, I went through the renovation process of my home. This guy's phone was ringing nonstop when he was in my house with people that were like interested in it. His biggest problem was not lead generation. It was managing leads. It was project management. It was customer service. Like if you've ever done any sort of renovation on your home, it's a nightmare. None of them have any sort of customer service skills. None of them have any sort of organization. So like that's what you should be thinking about, right? When we talk about like differentiating yourself in these markets, like when you talk about being an expert and being an authority, when you're walking into a pitch and everyone else is like, let me show you these keywords in the rankings. And you're like, no. Like before we talk about that, like show me how you're managing your leads. Show me your project management system. Like when you start having that conversation with them, they're like, okay, this is different. This is different. And now like we have a tripwire offer at our agency now where we're doing an analytics dashboard setup for free. It's an agency analytics. It's super easy. But like when we go through that and we set up conversions in their GA, I have a contractor, $15 an hour. It takes them 3 hours. That's $45 out of my pocket to set up conversions, set up what converts, set up tag manager, pipe it all into one report and one dashboard. We do that for free. Because then once I have that, I'm like, now we know where your leads are coming from. Now we know what you're paying per lead. Now let's talk about what we can do for lead generation. That all started from content creation, and that started from going down this path. So start macro and go deeper. I find ChatGPT very effective for helping me learn things that I don't know, expanding on things very quickly, and also like content writing in a pinch for the most part. I find it best like from social feeds, like videos that I see on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. And again, the more you go down this path, like the hardest part is getting started because you're kind of like, well, shit, where do I begin? Like, I don't know anything about garage door repair. Like there's nobody talking about that on the internet. So the hardest part is getting started. But like I said, once you tell your phone what you're interested in, you're going to start seeing a lot of it on your feeds. So the more information that you give your phone, scarily enough, the more you're going to get fed this information from other people. Next step up is going to be the content editing portion. So for us, and like I said, we have 2 editors. I think we pay like $200 per video, if I'm not mistaken, for a long form video. That's a little bit on the higher end. You can usually probably get it for like $50 to $100. You do the math on that. If you're doing 4 videos a month, you're looking at anywhere from $400 to $800 for video editing. You get it for $600. So that's on the high end. Anything you see me paying is probably twice what you can find out in the market. Finally is the writing. So I have a content writer who takes the finished video, and we don't create all of our videos into blog posts. It only if there's search volume to match it, right? So a lot of the videos that you're going to end up creating are probably going to be a little bit more topical and clickbaity, if you will, than based on search keywords. But if there's search volume to support the topic, then we'll take that and turn that into a blog post. Again, it's very easy to do this for a writer when you're giving them a finished video and you're like, just write this, right? There's even some AI software out there that can get you started with it. It's not great, but we have a writer. She charges us $150. She writes for Ahrefs too. She's really, really good. And it's only $150 because we're giving her a video that's basically just like transcribe this into a blog post. Start to understand some of the budget stuff here. Okay, so the output of this content, long videos, short videos, and then long audio. Long audio goes onto a podcast. It's already done. All you have to do is export that as a MP3 file and just upload it to, we use Buzzsprout. Creating a podcast is like the easiest thing in the world. And again, it's just free listeners. Again, our podcast doesn't get many listens, probably like 50 a month, but that's 50 new attorneys per month that are listening to our podcast and hearing our content, right? I think podcasts also just kind of cooled down a little bit. I don't know if anybody still listens to a lot of podcasts. There was a time during COVID where I think we're all jamming a lot of podcasts. It's cooled down a little bit. I personally am a YouTube junkie. Like I'm on YouTube more than anything, just listening to marketing stuff, sports stuff. It's YouTube for me is like, it's where we're moving, guys. Like the kids don't watch TV anymore. They watch YouTube, so got the long videos for YouTube, got the short videos for social and YouTube, and then the long audio for podcasts, right? So again, one video is now turning into all these different assets here. The short copy is more for social. So that's really LinkedIn that we're talking about. There's a bunch of copywriters out there that are pretty good. I had somebody who was doing it for me. She was like $400 a month for like 15 posts a month. So like pretty cheap. Like you can get it done pretty cheap. I was a little bit of a pain, so I didn't end up using her. But also for me, like I said, for Webris, which is my main focus right now, there's not a ton of attorneys on LinkedIn. So my main focus is really YouTube. And really the website too, and then Instagram and short content there as well. So that's the content creation process. Yes, you're probably gonna need to build a small team to help you out here. Yes, you're gonna have to put in some time and energy. Yes, you're gonna have to film some video. But there's ways around where you don't have to be, a talking head like me on video. So when it comes to promotion now, so we take the long video, publish it on YouTube. Also the short videos on YouTube. YouTube Shorts is a very, very, very powerful short form content platform. Really pushing for a lot of market share in that. Not that it needs to, we just consume so much crap online anyway. Attentions are not at a premium here. Published on Instagram and Facebook. Again, I kind of like looped them into the same thing. Meta, Instagram, Facebook, Reels. Facebook Reels has really been picking up too. I don't know if you guys have been getting stuff down your throat too more on Facebook. They're all over the place now. But again, you publish on one, you're basically publishing on the other because you can automate that. Publish on the long audio on the podcast. The long article gets published on the website. And then short copy, there it is, on LinkedIn. Again, it gets a little bit confusing here. Okay, so let me finish the slide. So now we get into more of the promotion, right? So we're promoting to the email list. This is kind of up to you, right? Like, do you want to promote the YouTube video? Do you want to promote your podcast? Do you want to promote your blog post on the website? I personally like to promote the blog post because if you go to any of our content on the Weber's blog, you'll see that I have the podcast and the video embed on the page. A really, really important thing with YouTube too, I've traditionally pushed people to YouTube because the thing about YouTube is that if you get somebody to watch one of your videos, especially like a minute or more, you're automatically going to be on their suggested feed the next time they log in. And that is incredibly powerful. Like, you don't really need subscribers as much anymore. It's more, I mean, they're important, don't get me wrong, because they get a notification when something goes live. But the powerful thing about YouTube is the YouTube suggested videos. The more that you get of people to watch, like, YouTube is what SEO wishes it could be in terms of the algorithm and the ranking algorithm. It's a much purer, much fairer algorithm because it's purely based on engagement. Like, if somebody's watching your video, they're engaging with it, YouTube is a great solution for that because it grows in perpetuity. You know, like, you publish a video, you drive eyeballs to it using your email list. Growing a YouTube channel, honestly, a good email list is your best friend because you're pushing people to there. I've seen the people that I see grow a YouTube channel very quick have another following on another platform that they're constantly pushing people to. I see people with like good Instagram followings growing very quickly because they post a video, they tag it in their Instagram story, they promote it through their video, and those people are inherently interested in that creator, so they're getting sticky views to that video. And you'll look at it and you'll be like, yo, they only have 1,000 subscribers, but they're getting 5,000 views on a video. And that's because they have an outside traffic source that's pushing it, right? And it's building that kind of flywheel within YouTube. YouTube is the best platform on the planet for that. And then I promote with meta ads. So I'm basically just taking the content that's already on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and we're pushing ads to it, but we're pushing it to a landing page, right? We're not pushing Facebook ads to YouTube. We're pushing ads to a funnel. Hey, Ryan here. Hope you liked that video. If you want more, check out these two videos right here on the screen.